Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how faith gives you everything. I am your host, Tom Kieran, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I heard from one of our subscribers this morning that has been working on manifesting a specific person back into their life. And she said, Tom, I've been working on it now for weeks. I do believe that he'll return, that I will manifest my SP, but I'm starting to have some doubts. I'm starting to waver. And I just want some advice on how do I get back to that firm belief into that state of wish fulfilled. Well, guys, we're going to unpack that today and more. Here's the first thing I want to say, is that there's a difference between faith in that unseen reality, in that invisible event already manifested in that dimensionally larger reality, and believing in the eventual or future manifestation in 3D reality. Hear this, right? So when you say, well, I still believe it's going to happen or it's going to manifest in 3D reality, that belief is subject to being shaken, right? I kind of believe it. I sort of believe it. I believe it if I can see it. All of that is subject to be shaken, but faith is absolute, right? Faith is the substance of your desires. Faith is that belief or that knowing that it already exists. Your desire is already manifested in that dimensionally larger reality. Wow, that's big. Right? This is what Jesus was getting at when he talked about if you had just the faith of a mustard seed. It's not because a mustard seed is small and that it's just a little amount of faith. It's having absolute faith, right? Absolute faith, you cannot waver, right? There's no degrees of it, right? A mustard seed will express itself as a mustard plant. A mustard seed knows itself as a mustard seed. It knows that it has the power to become a mustard plant. That's the same thing that God has given you, the same gift as the Son of God. You know that when you desire something, you have the power to bring that forth as a 3D manifestation in the manifested world. That's what it's saying. That's faith. That's absolute faith. Yeah, let's unpack that a little bit more. This is what Hebrews 11:1 says. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Neville Goddard uses this in his teachings quite a bit, where Neville uses the quote out of another version of the Bible where it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. I like them both, right? Conviction, evidence, assurance, substance. That faith is the substance of your desire. It is the substance of the unseen. It's already done. Faith sees the unseen. Right? Whereas you're looking for your 3D manifestation as an event to happen in 3D reality, faith is saying it already is a reality in that unseen, in that dimensionally larger reality. Wow, that's powerful, right? It's that assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen, right? The substance and the evidence that it's already done, right? Faith reveals that dimensionally larger reality. That's what faith does. Right? Belief is good. It can be good when you believe something, but it can be shaken because you believe that it's going to happen at some time and manifest in 3D, but to have faith is knowing that it's already done. It reveals that known reality, that unseen, but very real, if not more real than the 3D world in the dimensionally larger reality. Faith is a spiritual substance, right? Where your desire already exists. Right? That's the power, right? To have faith is to be conscious of your higher self, of your God consciousness. That's what faith is, right? You're not looking in 3D. Faith is your direct connection to that higher you, where all your desires are already a manifested reality in that dimensionally larger reality, and will manifest in 3D as you stay in that faith. That absolute faith, that faith that can't be shaken, that faith that doesn't waver, right? That's what we're talking about here. It's not blind faith. Blind faith is saying, well, I'll believe it, but there's no evidence, right? I'll believe it. I'll just believe it. I'll go on your word, God, that it's going to happen. This isn't blind faith. This is faith. This is a knowing, right? This is the feeling. This is your vision into that dimensionally larger reality. Right? That's what faith is. It's a vision. It's not a mere belief. It's the substance of that which is believed. Hear this. So it's not just a belief, yet faith is the substance of what you're believing in. If you believe in that desire, well, faith is the substance of it, right? And here's what Jesus says to one of his disciples, Thomas, right? Doubting Thomas. When Thomas doubts him, this is when Jesus was resurrected, right, from the tomb and reappeared to his disciples, right, in flesh. And Thomas wanted to poke him and touch him to believe it. He wanted to touch it, feel it, see it, to believe it. And this is what Jesus says to Thomas: because you have seen me, have you believed? With a question mark. And then Jesus goes on to say, blessed are they who did not see and yet believed. Hear this, right? Jesus is saying that they are blessed. All the kingdom, they seek the kingdom first, and everything in the kingdom is given unto them. Why? Because they don't see, they believe first, and then they'll see it. Wow, that's powerful. So as we go on, I want to use this example again of that creative substance, that creative consciousness, that law of God as the soil. Because when you drop the seed of your idea or your thought or the word, it's going to be planted in that soil. It's going to be established in your mind. Your idea or your thought has to be established in your mind. You don't just drop it on the top of the soil. You put it beneath the soil. You establish it. Establish your idea. Establish your desire in faith. And then it's immediately created in that dimensionally larger reality. Hear this, right? You're not wavering. You've established that thought. It's done. Right? Now that creative substance will work on it for it to manifest in 3D reality, but it's real and it's already done, right? Lack is impossible when you have absolute faith, like the faith of a mustard seed, like you know you're a mustard seed, and a mustard seed knows it's going to be a mustard plant. You're the Son of God, and you know that when you set your word forth, it must manifest. It must become a reality in the 3D world. This is what it's saying, right? God is all that. God can't be more. God can't be less. Gain or loss makes no sense to God. It's absolutely impossible when you have absolute faith for it not to manifest in 3D reality. It's already done in that dimensionally larger reality. It's only you maintaining that absolute faith, not wavering, right? Whether you believe it or not, whether you express it consciously or not, you are God. Hear this. You're a son of God. Whether you believe it or not, or whether you express it consciously or not, you are God. And once you have that absolute faith in that you are God, just like a mustard seed has absolute faith it's a mustard seed, then it's done. And you set the word forth in faith, and it's done. It's not wavering. You don't even have to look for it. It's a done deal, right? And then in Matthew 7:8, for everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. This is the promise. This is what Jesus is saying. Everyone who asks receives. Everyone who seeks finds. To him that knocks, the door is open. It's law. Whatsoever you ask in prayer, believe that you receive it, and it shall be yours. That's the promise. That's the faith we're talking about. It's the absolute faith, right? And then you also asked in the email, well, Dom, how do I know it's done? Because I'm still waiting. I don't see it. How do I know it's done? You know it's done because that's your conviction that it's done. It's a confident expectation. It's conviction. That conviction means it's an inevitable manifestation in 3D reality. You know it's an inevitable manifestation. That's what conviction means. It's inevitable. That's what it means by it is done. When you have absolute faith, it has to happen. It's now inevitable. So you have a joyous expectation, a confident expectation. You have that faith that it's done. It's an immutable law of creation, right? Faith expands your consciousness and opens the pipes to abundance. So when you have faith, it's not just believing in one manifestation, for instance, of your SP or a pile of money or a new car and a house. It's the connection to all you would ever desire. It's a connection to that abundance of which you are. That's what faith gives you. It gives you everything, not just your SP, not just a promotion in a job, but faith is that substance that gives you the connection to everything that you are as a son of God. Wow, that's big. Faith is feeling or living in the consciousness of being the thing desired. That's what Neville Goddard says, right? Faith is feeling or living in the consciousness of being the thing desired. And if you think big and know that you're bigger than your desires, right? Even as I read these emails, sometimes we feel it sounds like you're feeling like you're smaller than your desires. You're bigger than your desires. Remember, you're always big. The conceptions are always smaller than the conceiver, right? You are the conceiver. You are the creator. Your creations come out of you, out of that as the creator, right? I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. This is what Jesus was trying to tell us, right? You're greater than your manifestations. You're greater than your desires. It's a done deal when you have the absolute faith in them, right? Faith is loyal to the unseen reality. That's what Neville Goddard was talking about, right? Faith to that unseen reality. Faith to that dimensionally larger reality where all your desires are. Not just your SP, not just a pile of money, not just a job promotion, not just to travel around the world, but everything that you could ever be, do, or want, or have is already there. It's already an unseen manifested reality in that dimensionally larger reality of God, right? Faith, which seals you in the conscious state until your invisible claim ripens to maturity and expresses itself. This is what Neville Goddard says, right? Faith, which seals you in the conscious state. Faith seals you in that state. It's impossible not to be in that state when you have absolute faith. You're sealed in that state until your invisible claim ripens to maturity and expresses itself, right? Faith really is the ultimate state of abundance. Really, faith really does give you everything. I am your host, Tom Caron, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification button. Like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. Hit us up on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Caron, our website at tomcaron.com or BeSomethingWonderful.com, or write me anytime at info@BeSomethingWonderful.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, this is Tom with great love. See you soon.